Today, I am using only 3 Japanese phrases to travel around Tokyo.
So you booked your flight to Japan and you're excited to come and you wonder, maybe I should learn some Japanese phrases. So you find yourself an article talking about Japanese phrases for tourists. And you look at it and you're bombarded with so many phrases, overwhelming you to the point where you just give up on learning anything. And then I thought, that was a lost opportunity to get to know Japanese. So to solve this issue, I started narrowing down the phrases only to the ones you'll actually use when you're traveling to Japan. And that's when I realized, if you're just going to restaurants, doing some shopping, and enjoying touristy places, you actually only need 3 or 4 phrases. Look, I'm a Japanese local myself, and when I look back at the phrases I've used after enjoying a weekend around Tokyo, there aren't that many. That's why I thought it'll be interesting to do this challenge of traveling around Tokyo using only 3 phrases that I've boiled down to.
So the 3 Japanese phrases that I will only be able to use is 1, Arigato-gozaimasu. That's thank you. Number 2, Daijyobu-desu. I think the closest translation in English would be, that's okay. So if a konbini employee asks you, do you need a bag? You say, oh, Daijyobu-desu, that's okay. That means, oh, I don't need it, that's okay. Or if an employee tells you, oh, it's gonna take about 10 minutes to serve you your food, is that okay? You could be like, oh, that's okay, Daijyobu-desu. I'm okay with waiting 10 minutes, that's what it means. And phrase number 3 is Onegai-shimasu. And I think this is the magical phrase. I don't think there is an English phrase that's as exactly the same as the word Onegai-shimasu. It is so versatile and very useful, and Japanese use it all the time. Here's what it means. 1, it means yes. So for example, back to the konbini conversation, when the employee asks you, do you need a bag? And if you want to say yes, you say Onegai-shimasu. Another usage would be like, let's say if you want to buy this sunglasses, right? You would have this in your hand and say to the employee, Onegai-shimasu. That means I want to buy this. Or if you're making a payment and you want to use your credit card to make the payment, you just hold out your credit card and then say Onegai-shimasu. That means I want to pay with the credit card. Or another meaning would be hello. Especially in the context of when you're being provided with a service. So for example, when you get on a taxi, the first thing a Japanese would say is Onegai-shimasu, not konnichiwa. So the word Onegai-shimasu is just so versatile and so useful. So that's the 3 phrases that I'm going to use. Arigato-gozaimasu, Daijyobu-desu, and Onegai-shimasu.
Now that you know the 3 phrases, before we begin the journey, I have some additional rules. In addition to the 3 phrases, I can also use yes and no, which is hai and ie in Japanese. I thought that was too simple for it to be a phrase, so I didn't put it in there. Also, I can use pronouns like the name of a city or a name of a station, or words like credit card, but I'll try to keep it minimal. Also, this is not a rule, but I will speak in Japanese with a foreign accent and wear sunglasses to hide my face, aiming to look less like a Japanese, so that the employees that I talk to would know that they're talking to a tourist, so that I can more replicate the experience of being in the tourist's shoes.
And where are we traveling today? So today, we are first going to the Asakusa Food Street. We're in Asakusa right now. We have a very beautiful view of the Tokyo Sky Tree, very nice view. And then after that, we're gonna get some Ichiran ramen. Very typical touristy place to go, huh? And then we're gonna get on a taxi and go to the closest Uniqlo available, and then shop some clothes at Uniqlo, and then walk into a 7-Eleven, buy some drink or something. And then after that, we're going to an Izakaya, a place called Torikizoku, very popular place for tourists. And so that is our today's plan. Very cliche, very touristy place to visit around Tokyo, huh? All right, I think we're all set. Let's start this challenge. Oh, and by the way, one thing I do want to make sure upon doing this challenge is to make sure that I don't disrespect the Japanese employees and the people. I don't want them feeling uncomfortable, or I don't want them feel disrespected. That is the last thing I want to have happen. I want to be a good tourist. So in cases where limiting myself into only 3 of that phrase might lead to a disrespectful scene or something, I will go out of the boundaries and use more phrases. So I just want to set that clear. Okay, we have arrived at the main street of Asakusa. There are numerous street shops out here, so I'm gonna try to get something. If they have like a matcha drink, that'll be great. But God, there's a lot of people. Oh, I see we have a matcha place over there. Let's go over there and get some matcha. Okay, so I'm gonna go for this one, this matcha latte. Onegai-shimasu. Onegai-shimasu.
カレー、コルド系。
はい。
はい。お会計が800円です。
credit card お願いします。
クレジットが。ありがとうございます。じゃあこちら800。This is smile card. Please read it here, please.
あ、はい。
こちらでお待ちください。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。お渡しします。あ、すいません。ごちそうさまです。
I did it. Transaction with only 3 Japanese, I did it. There was zero awkwardness in the conversation, so that was so smooth. But gesturing and smiling, I guess, is a key component of not making the conversation awkward. Yeah, so make sure you point at whatever you want to order and make sure you smile when you say Arigato-gozaimasu. They'll smile back at you. That makes a very warm conversation, so make sure to do that. So I got this buzzer. This buzzes, I'm gonna get my food. And they also gave me like a smile card of please pass this card to the staff whose smile and customer service were wonderful. What an amazing system here. I'm going to give this card to the employee that served me. Wow, this is so Japanese and so heartwarming and nice. When I give this, I can use Onegai-shimasu and Arigato-gozaimasu like a combo. Arigato-gozaimasu. Matcha latte. Oh, 10 out of 10. Very delicious. So I'm gonna give this card with Arigato-gozaimasu and Onegai-shimasu combo. Arigato-gozaimasu, Onegai-shimasu. All right, nice. Let me throw this out. Arigato-gozaimasu. Did you guys just see the interaction I had? I was throwing out the trash and the employee came up and said Arigato-gozaimasu and I said Arigato-gozaimasu back and that was so natural. All right, now let's go to Ichiran and get some ramen. And Ichiran ramen is one of the places where you don't have to talk at all. I'm sure the people that are watching this video already probably knows this, but Ichiran is famous for a very closed atmosphere where you're not forced to talk to employees or communicate in any way. That's good for non-Japanese speakers, right? Okay, we've arrived at Ichiran. Let's get some delicious bowl of ramen. All right, this is touch screen, so you don't have to say any Japanese for this one. Right. Wow, okay, I just sat down. I didn't know that Arigatou-gozaimasu. So I sat down and they told me to write this paper. That transaction was a little bit off as in Japanese. They said, please write this card, and I said Arigato-gozaimasu. That means thank you. So it's a little awkward, but that's okay. Okay, I wrote my card, so I'm gonna turn this in. Arigato-gozaimasu. Onegai-shimasu. Arigato-gozaimasu. It works. It works. I didn't know that in Ichiran, you don't have to be served to your table. You just sit wherever that's open. So no communication needed there. The only communication that happened was when this was open and there's an employee behind this curtain. And that's the only interaction I had. So far, so good.
お客様失礼いたします。
はい。
お待たせいたしました。
ありがとうございます。
では失礼いたします。
All right, guys, I got my delicious bowl of ramen. Itadakimasu. Oh, wait. That is a phrase you cannot miss. Itadakimasu. That is something you say before you eat. That's a very respectful thing to do as in like culture-wise. So yeah, itadakimasu, I should have put that in the list, like as a form of like respect to the Japanese culture. Before you eat food, say itadakimasu. So itadakimasu. Okay, so I just got done eating my ramen, and I forgot to tell you, in addition to itadakimasu, you say gochusou-sama deshita when you finish eating your food. That's another very respectful thing to say to the food that you're being served. So in addition to itadakimasu, please add gochusou-sama deshita. That's very respectful. It's a bonus add-on phrase. And another good thing to say is saying gochusou-sama deshita when you're walking out of the store too. So that's a very, it feels good on both sides, the customer and the employee too. Or like low-key say it and then walk out. Gochusou-sama deshita. All right, we're done eating Ichiran. Nice, so far so good. Now we're gonna move on to, we're gonna get on a cab and go to Uniqlo. All right, let's find a cab. Okay, so I'm over here waiting for a cab. All I have to do is just hail my hand, like any other country. And then when I walk in, the first thing I'm gonna say is Onegai-shimasu. That's the most natural thing to say. What I am concerned about this challenge when I get on a cab is that when I tell them my destination, which is going to be Okachimachi, that's the name of the station that's closest to Uniqlo they have. Well, I'm gonna say Okachimachi onegai-shimasu. I'm afraid that they're gonna ask me for, do you have any preferences on how to get there? They always ask you that. But what I am thinking is that if I talk in a foreigner accent, they'll think that I won't be able to answer and they'll just take whatever route is the most efficient. So that's a challenge. We'll see how that's gonna work out. I think we found one? I think we found one. All right, we're going in. Onegai-shimasu. Oh. Okachimachi de onegai-shimasu.
Okay, it worked. They didn't ask me for the route like I was concerned about, probably because I was speaking in a foreign accent. The next communication point will be when I get off, but I don't think that's gonna be that complicated.
I mean, so far we haven't gotten in a situation where we have to use Daijyobu-desu. So maybe this video could have been surviving using only 2 phrases. Wow. Daijyobu-desu. Arigato-gozaimasu. Credit card de onegai-shimasu. Credit card? Oh. Daijyobu-desu. Arigato-gozaimasu. Hai. Arigato-gozaimasu. Hai. Arigato-gozaimasu.
Alright, as you guys probably noticed, there was a little bit of a tricky moment there, but I was still able to not break the rule. When I asked to pay with a credit card, the driver said they didn't have tap to pay, so you needed a physical credit card. But to that, I was still able to cover it with Daijyobu-desu, which is the first time using it, by the way. The driver also asked me for the PIN code and also gave me a receipt, to which I answered both of that with Hai. And I successfully made it out of the taxi. Now, I understand that in this situation, the Japanese listening skill was also necessary, so I hope to do another challenge in the future focusing on the listening side, but for today, let's stick with this challenge on the speaking side.
All right, now let's head to Uniqlo and buy something. All right, so I arrived at Uniqlo. Let's go in and buy maybe a t-shirt or something. Let's go. I think I bought this at Uniqlo. I think I'm gonna buy the exact same one because I love this t-shirt. It's like 500 yen. And it's very comfortable. Yep, this is it. 590 yen. I'm gonna get this. So Uniqlo usually has both counters, the cashier with the actual person in front of you versus The machine cashiers. Yeah, so they only have the machine register available for you. This is so easy. You can choose English as your language as well, so that's very easy. Zero conversation, zero Japanese necessary for this. Even if you wanted to use the register with the actual person, that's only for tax-free version too, so you can't, even if you wanted to. All right, let's get out of Uniqlo. Okay, so we're out of Uniqlo. We didn't have to say anything, didn't have to say a word. So I'm gonna go to a konbini, get myself a drink. And in konbinis, they usually have like the machine register as well, but I'm gonna go to the one with the actual person and then see if I can do another survival test. Let's find a 7-Eleven. So we found a 7-Eleven. Let's go in, buy some green tea. Let's go. I'm gonna get this ocha, Onegai-shimasu. Arigato-gozaimasu. That was so easy. Very smooth transaction. That would be exactly something that I would do just as a normal Japanese. Just go in, hand them this and say Onegai-shimasu. And then if it's 7-Eleven, you're gonna have a display where you choose your payment method. I click credit card and then I tap my phone and then I take the product. There's gonna be a receipt that's gonna be printed out. So you take that, you put it in the box if you don't need it, and then say Arigato-gozaimasu, and then you leave. That's it. So easy. Our final step is to go to an Izakaya. That is Torikizoku, y'all's favorite. Let's go. We were about to go to Torikizoku, but it wasn't open yet. We had about 40 minutes before the opening time. So we're gonna head into a cafe and order something and see if we can survive the cafe with 3 phrases. So let's go into Runoaru. It's a very famous Japanese cafe. Let's go in there. So in a cafe, you have to tell them how many people you have in your group. So you just point your finger 2 and then say Onegai-shimasu. Me and my camera crew, that's 2. So just point out 2 and say Onegai-shimasu. So we're waiting in the store. It wasn't like we just point out our finger and then say Onegai-shimasu. It was the type of cafe where you write your name on a waiting list and then they'll call out your name and then now you're taken to your seat when your turn comes. Hi. Hi. Okay, we got taken to our seats. They called our name and I said hi and then I sat down. That's it. And the next thing to do is we're gonna order. Okay, so I am about to order this. This is Cafe Olay. And there's the hot and the ice. I wanted to just point at this and say Onegai-shimasu, but they have to know if it's an iced or hot. And I think you have to say iced. I think you can't just point at iced and say Onegai-shimasu. I think that would confuse the employees. So I think we're gonna have to break the rule on this one. I think you have to say iced Onegai-shimasu. So that's what I'll do. I cannot risk making them feel awkward or unclear. So I'll do that. So I'm gonna get the waiters' attention by using eye contact and then saying just maybe Onegai-shimasu. So we'll do that. Onegai-shimasu. This. Onegai-shimasu. And this. Iced Onegai-shimasu. Arigato-gozaimasu. Okay, I think that was good. I did say iced, like I said before, but the little sus. Other than that, I didn't break other rules. Hi. When the server brings your food and there's multiple people on your table, they say who ordered the cafe latte, and then whoever ordered it, you have to say hi, and then they'll place that order in front of you, whoever said hi. So that you have to say hi, and then this is the bill. You have to bring this to the cashier when you're done, and they're like, hey, please bring this to the bill when you're done, and then you have to have some sort of a response, and that's when you say hi. So we still have not broken the rule. Yes. Okay, I am ready to leave. Let's take this to the cashier and pay. Let's go. Gochou-sama desu. Credit card, onegai-shimasu. Arigato-gozaimasu. Okay, if you noticed, I broke one rule. I said gochou-sama desu at the beginning of the conversation. I think that's one of that I said it to show sort of respect to the people who served me food. And I think that was necessary. So, gochou-sama desu, like I said at Ichiran, yes, I think I would have to add that to the list. All right, Torikizoku is now open, so let's go. Before we head to Torikizoku, let's stop by Matsumoto Kiyoshi, a drugstore, because I am out of body soap at home. Let's go buy some body soap. Get my body soap. Onegai-shimasu. Credit card, onegai-shimasu. Arigato-gozaimasu. Super simple. Giving them this and saying onegai-shimasu, and then credit card onegai-shimasu, and then arigato-gozaimasu walking out. That's so versatile. All right, so we're about to go into the Izakaya, the Torikizoku, and I think the first thing that they're gonna ask me is, do you have a reservation? And that's a no, so I'll answer iie. You can't answer it with Daijyobu-desu, no thank you, you can't do that, so I'll say iie, but that's still within the rule. And then next communication is like, how many people in your group? And then me and my camera staff, that's 2, so I'll say, I'll point 2 and then say onegai-shimasu. All right, let's go in. We're going in. Onegai-shimasu.
2名様ですね。
はい。
こちらどうぞ。
ありがとうございます。
ご予約は特にしてないですか？
いいえ。
わかりました。ご新規2名様ご来店です。こちらどうぞ。
ありがとうございます。
ではオーダーパネルからお願いします。
ありがとうございます。
お帰りの際にこちらのバインダーレジまでお願いします。
Okay. Yes, they did ask me if I had a reservation, and I said iie. That means no. But that was not the first thing that they asked. The first interaction was I said 2, and then onegai-shimasu, and they led me here. And then another conversation was bring this little binder that they have hanging over there. Bring that to the register when you're done, just like the cafe. And I said hi, and we're done. Now we can order through this panel, and let's enjoy Izakaya then.
失礼いたします。今2つ目です。
ありがとうございます。Okay, we got our first 2 dish. And ordering this was very easy. All you had to do was enter in your tablet, send the order, and this came. And when they served us the food, I said arigato-gozaimasu. Very smooth. All right, let's eat. Itadakimasu. Okay, I am done eating. Now let's take this to the cashier and pay. Let's go.
ありがとう
Arigato-gozaimasu.
ございます。1170円。
Credit card, onegai-shimasu.
クレジットカード OK。タッチ OK。
Touch, okay.
お願いします。
Arigato-gozaimasu. ごちそうさまでした。
ありがとうございます。
All right, we're out of the Torikizoku. The conversation I had, as you guys saw, I said one phrase that was out of the rule. That was touch okay. So yeah, the employee asked, touch okay?
タッチ OK。
Touch okay? And then I like intuitively just reacted by saying, oh, touch okay. But so that I broke the rule there. But you know, I feel like you could have said Daijyobu-desu. That would have been a perfectly okay conversation. So it was still doable. I accidentally broke the rule, but you can still manage it. All right, we are done with sightseeing in Tokyo for today. So wrapping up, I felt like I needed to add itadakimasu and gochusou-sama deshita, especially gochusou-sama deshita, because you would say it to an employee, like when you walk out of a restaurant, to show respect and say thank you You can say Arigato-gozaimasu, that's very respectful as well, but I think Gochusou deshita shows more of an appreciation towards the food that they've provided to you. So that's more in context. So I should update my list to Arigato-gozaimasu, Daijyobu-desu, Onegai-shimasu, and then Gochusou deshita. And maybe a plus alpha, Itadakimasu. But man, I think it worked out pretty great. I think most of the conversation, I could have dealt with it within that set phrase. So to wrap it up, this challenge wasn't perfect, but I hope this video lowered your hurdle towards Japanese and also touring around Japan. The only thing I wish for is for you to be able to enjoy Japan more after watching this video. So if so, then that would make my day. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope you have a great time in Japan. I hope this video helped you feeling a little bit closer to the Japanese language. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.